Howdy! For the past little while, I've been working on building one of these, a Protogen. Now, I'm not really the artsy type, so I've mostly just been focusing on the mechanics and the electrical work. I built this as a test, but in the final one I don't want these red panels. So today, we'll be assembling this. Another one with these white panels. Let's go over to the lab and get started. So before we begin, I'd like to go over these matrices. These are the yellow ones. And this is one of the red ones. As you can see, the red one looks clear. It's not red because you can actually make red LEDs. You can't actually make pure white LEDs. So what they do is they instead use a phosphor and I think an infrared LED to convert it to white. So that's why these ones look yellow. It's because of that phosphor. These little matrices are based on the Mk.II chip, and I'll get a close-up here of that. It's just an SPI device. Well, it's not technically SPI, but it's basically just SPI. Pretty easy to work with. Every microcontroller pretty much has it. They've got an input and an output, so you just hook everything up, power ground, clock data, chip select, and flow it through from one module to another. And with that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, I forgot how loud it is in this lab, so I'll be a bit brief. So I'd like to talk a bit about why I chose these modules. There's some other Protogen out there that use WS2812B addressable LEDs and a custom matrix. Those look really cool. There's some other ones that use Hub 75 panels. Those also look cool. And I even saw one that was just hardwired LEDs, which, you know, that's kind of metal, but I don't want to do that. But my reasoning for going with these is that, so the protocol these speak, SPI, is a fairly mature protocol. I mean, it's been around for like 40 some odd years. Whereas Hub 75 isn't the greatest of documented, and the addressable WS LEDs are a bit finicky, and they take up a lot of power. These don't use that much power. These are also easier to program for, less headache on my end, and I don't know, I kind of just like the way they look. The white on this is actually white instead of like a weird RGB white with the other ones, and you can update these way faster. So yeah, with that out of the way, I'm going to get started here. I'll turn the camera off and get started. Alright, I'm working on this first panel here, but I thought I would just pop in and mention that I did change these resistors. Sorry, this one's not pretty. It wasn't working under a microscope. But I did change these resistors here because by default they come with 10 kilo ohm resistors, which is way too low. That would put way too much current through these LEDs. So I changed them for, I think, 23.2 kilo ohm resistors, which should get the current down to about 20 milliamps on these LEDs. So just a good idea to change those, prolong the life of the panels, make them a little dimmer, but they're already plenty bright, so it'll be fine. Alright, I've got the first half wired up. I've got it connected to the controller. Let's turn the power supply on and see what happens. I'll plug it in. Nice! Look at it. He's all blinking. Blinking away. We got a mouth. It's upside down right now, but it'll be right side up when it gets put into the into this. We got our nose. Got our eyeball blinking away. Yeah, looks good. Now on to the other side. It only took me, I don't know, 2 hours to do this side. Alrighty, I finally got the whole chain hooked up. Now I'm going to take these little face brackets, I'll call them, and I'll hot glue these displays to them. Should be all good. Then I'll screw it into the base plate. We'll be ready to go. Alrighty, and I'm finished soldering everything together and hot gluing it all together. And this is what it's turned out like. This, to my eyes, looks pretty damn good. In this side is a little bit flickery, but that's because I need to beef up the power delivery. Right now, the voltage on this side is a bit low. It's about 3.8 volts instead of the 5 volts like it's supposed to be. But once I get that all sorted out, and all that wired up correctly, then this thing will be rock solid and ready to go. These will also get a little bit brighter, I think. Now, let's go back home so I can finish this episode. Awesome. Now I've got all the display electronics for a Protogen head finished. Well, I guess now I have two, but one of them's red, and the Protogen I'm going for is themed after like a 1980s hi-fi set. Think the Sony EOS series, so wood grain sides, black panel, white displays, so white is obviously the choice. So this is that head. I'm going to go with that going forward. This is just going to become a test / backup one if I ever feel like it, which I don't really. So next steps on this are I'm waiting on some parts to be printed for the rest of it. So I've got the cheek fins coming, and that'll be the next part, internal gasket, and then I've also designed a PCB to help drive all of this. And then after that, it's starting work on the backpack. Now, this is a bit of an interesting episode. You would expect my next one to be on the Phoenix Junior, but I'm kind of busy over the summer with work, and I actually just got a brand new camera, a Canon EOS 7D Mk.II. It's quite an upgrade over my old Canon Rebel T6. So I honestly just wanted to make this video to get an excuse to use this camera, test out its new features, kind of get used to it a little bit. If you like this video, click like. If you hated it, please don't tell me. Well, do tell me, but like don't be mean about it. If you didn't watch this video, please let me know. If you did watch this video, cool. Yeah.